Yep. I've got another one. It's alright. G'day everyone. Try not look in the camera with me headlamp. Just coming out for a meat harvest. Some venison with my mate Keith. We did roll in on daytime, so we came to a spot where I've seen some in the past, and sure enough, it's paid off. And we've managed to get 3 deer for us. So some time now, do some field dressing. You'll notice in the footage I've gone for neck shots. My reasoning for that. Quick! It's been a pretty good night. Just walking back to the ute. My mate's Keith started dressing already. I'm just going to drop the ute up and come in here to do what's left. Yeah, thanks for watching. G'day everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Doing something very left of field today, and in this video I'm going to be showing you my favourite way to cook venison, and that is with the mouth-watering and delicious Japanese tacos. Now I'm not going to be sitting here the whole time. I'm just working with my phone. I don't have a microphone, so I'm going to be playing with some different camera angles, trying to get the best point of view for you to be able to follow on and be able to recreate this recipe at home yourself. As you can see, I've got everything I need in front of me. I've got all my ingredients. I've got some pre-processed venison and cucumber and garlic here. In true me fashion, I'm racing against the sunlight, so I've been filming this over a couple of days. I really don't know how this is going to work out, but you're coming along for the journey with me, so let's get into it, and I'm going to show you how to cook Japanese venison tacos. So first thing we're going to do is pickle the cucumber. We're going to slice the cucumber into thin batons, little soldiers, you know, the same way you would have done carrots, or your mum would have done them when you were a kid. We're going to put them into a bowl, separate, and then we're going to combine the vinegar, sugar, and salt. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to need 1/3 of a cup of vinegar. I'm going to probably using a bit more cucumber than I normally would, so I'm going to add a little bit more vinegar, maybe 1/6 of a cup, 1/2 of a cup. And next we're going to add 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm going to add an extra 1/2 in. I'll put the actual quantities in the video description. I'm just adding a little bit extra in this because I'm doing a bit more than I normally would. Then 2 and a little bit teaspoons of raw sugar. You could probably just use white sugar if you've got it, or brown sugar. I just use raw because that's what we use at home. And then just using a fork, we're just going to whisk that until it dissolves. Okay, once we've made the pickle juice, just going to add that straight in on top of our cucumbers. Put the lid back on. Give it a shake. Make sure you coat them. It doesn't seal very well. Give them a good coating. And then we're going to sit them aside in the fridge until we're ready for them again. Clean your mess as you go. There we go. Okay, so next up we're going to make the marinade for the venison. We grow our own garlic at home, so I'm going to be using some homegrown garlic today. I've already peeled it, grated it prior to making this video. So you'll see a couple of snippets of me right here grating previously. If you don't have fresh ginger, you can always just buy some crushed ginger. Seems to work pretty fine. You don't really notice it. But if you've got fresh ginger, you can follow the same process with the garlic. First thing we're going to want to do for the marinade is put in the soy sauce. Now, soy sauce is about 1/3 cup as well. But because I'm definitely using more than I would normally use, so I'm cooking up for an army this evening, I'm going to go 1/3 and 1/2, 1/6 if you really want to get technical. Next we're going to move on to the honey, and as you can see I've just smeared some all over the table. I've cleaned that up. Probably about 2 tablespoons normally of honey to 1/3 cup of garlic, soy sauce rather. But for this I'm going to throw in a little bit extra. I advise putting the soy sauce in first. So just find if you put the honey in first, the honey tends to stick to the bottom of the bowl. It just makes it a bit harder to get out. Okay, next we are going to add the ginger. If I was using raw ginger, I'd probably grate about 2 nubs. But for this, probably going to go 1 generous teaspoon of ginger. Probably helps if I pay attention to the camera as well. So yeah, probably a little bit extra. For comparison, if we compare that to the garlic that I've already grated, that is meant to be the equivalent amount, and that's probably a bit more than a teaspoon, but that'll work. Usually would use about 2 cloves of garlic. However, I'm a bit heavy-handed. I like my garlic, so I try to bump up to about 4 or 6 cloves. I've gone with 6 cloves this time, and I've grated it, thrown it in. It's going to work out well. Once we've got that all together, we're going to grab our fork again. After we're going to do clean, we're just going to mix all that together until you can feel that the honey is dissolved. And that should do. Next up, we're going to move on to our venison. This time around, I'm using 2 pieces of top round, where normally I prefer to use the backstrap. I think the backstrap is definitely by far the best cut for this recipe. However, I've found that you can use any cut from the rear legs, any of the prime cuts, and you'll still get just as good a result using any of those cuts of meat. So first of all, if you haven't already, we're going to remove any sinew off our venison. We're going to trim any yucky bits off, throw them away, feed them to the dogs. Then we're going to hold our knife, filleting knife flat, and run it down the guts of the venison. And we want to end up with about 10 mil, 1 centimeter slices. And then we're going to cut them into probably about the same 10 mil, 1 centimeter strips. We want them to be like stir-fry pieces of meat, because when it comes time to cooking them, we're going to cook them hot and fast, and we want them to be small but still maintain their size so that we're not losing anything. It's a bit hard to explain. You're going to see when I get to the cooking part. Right, so here is the venison that I've prepared earlier, as you've just seen in the footage. What we're going to do is we're going to grab it. We're just going to put all that meat straight into this bowl. Then we're going to just use our hands to mix it in. Okay, make sure it's all covered. Going to put a lid on it. Then we're going to put that aside just for the moment. Clean our workstation again. The last little bit of prep we're going to do before we start cooking this venison, and we are running out of daylight fast, is we're just going to prep our salad. Now I just like to use kale slaw, and I'm not going to use the whole bag. I'm only going to make up as I need it, because I find if you put too much in, especially with the salad dressing, that it just goes soggy. Depending on which kale slaw you get too, it also comes with these bag of pine nuts. I think it's pine nuts and some pumpkin seeds. I just find it adds a bit of extra crunch, a bit of texture. So it's good just to add them in. And lastly, we're going to use the Chang's crispy noodle salad dressing. There's no right or wrong to this part. You just add a little bit, mix it in, inspect it, and just add enough that it's coating the salad without drowning it. Alright, that'll do. Let's get on to some cooking. So we want our frying pan to be very hot. We want to give it an oil. Just switch that oil around. Okay, and then, now this part is very important. When you go to put your venison on the frying pan, you want to strain it. If you don't strain it, you're going to boil the meat, and you only want to do a little bit at a time. So just grab a fistful, give it a good wring, strain it out, and here we go. The second it hits the frying pan, we just want to stir it. We want to keep it moving as though we're, well, it's in the name, stir fry. If you've got a wok, this would probably be better in a wok, but it seems to work pretty well in the cast iron skillet, and it does get very smoky. So I would highly advise putting an extractor fan on. Otherwise, you can do this on a barbecue. It actually works pretty well on the barbecue too, and you can cook a larger portion of it. As for time, there's no set time for cooking this. I think generally you probably don't want it on here for any longer than 2 minutes, but you just sort of want to eyeball it. And then once it's probably been on here for about a minute, maybe then just take a piece, have a bite, do the old chef's taste test and see if it's to your liking. The fattest piece here, go that one. Take a bite. Probably a bit more medium than medium rare. I'd say it's going to be done. So we'll take it from our pan now, pop it into a bowl. Probably don't do that over an open flame. Turn that off. And now it's time to dish up. Japanese taco. The only thing left to do is eat it. I feel like a right old tosser doing this, in case anyone's wondering. They are bloody delicious. Depending on the size of the tortillas you've got, you could really do this as a burrito or a taco. It's entirely up to you. Usually I prefer to do a burrito, but just for the sake of this video, it's kind of ended up being a half-half. So there you have it, everyone. That is how I make my Japanese venison tacos. Be sure to give it a go yourself. If you're not too keen on exploring different ways to cook venison, I reckon this is a must try. I know a few guys that just like to mince the whole animal. I prefer to try and use as much of the prime cuts as I can for slow cooks, curries, and Japanese venison tacos. So be sure to give this a try. I promise you, you're going to love it. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, a cooking video. I've been wanting to show everyone the other side of the hunting and what I do. I hope you've enjoyed it. If this is something you want to see more of, be sure to let me know in the comments. And if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, in the video description, there'll be a full list of ingredients, any links to any particular products that I use for this video regarding the recipe, and there'll be a rough breakdown of the method as well. Otherwise, you can follow along with this video. It's very straightforward. Alright everyone, wrapping up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers. It's actually been a pretty good night.